All right, is the mic on? Episode 153. What's wrong with Orny Adams? I went to the supermarket yesterday. Orange juice. These prices are out of control across the board. $7.99 for ketchup? And then orange juice, same price, $4.99, but the Simply Orange is simply shrinking. I remember it used to be 64 ounces. So in 2010, it was 64 ounces. And then in 2018, it went to 59 ounces. So we lost 5 ounces there. And then in 2025, it went down to 52. Yesterday, I'm not kidding, it's still 2025. It's 46 ounces. I mean, at some point, it's just going to become a 16-ounce go screw yourself. I'm fired up and I'm tired of it. Mark Mann doing the theme to What's Wrong with Orny Adams. Mark Mann was at my show Saturday night. You know Mark Mann. He is he's a musician aficionado. Guys played with Eric Clapton. He's played Orny Adams. Mark Mann has played with Paul McCartney, Jeff Lynne, played with the late Tom Petty. He's played with Orny Adams. He's played with everybody. Guy's amazing. And he was at the Improv Saturday night with Jim Clemente was there too. And I played the piano for these people. I would show the clip today, but the Improv has not gotten me the clip. So, there you go. You want to know what's wrong? Everything's wrong. Anything I don't do is wrong. It's why I'm designing my new T-shirts, my new Lower Your Expectations University, the new design, 2025. By the way, I'm not shrinking anything. I haven't even raised my prices. And I'm paying more. Believe me. To have these shirts manufactured now has gone up because where do you think the shirts are coming from? China. And they've got a tariff. In breaking otter news, there has been another human attacked by an otter. I wish we would do something about this. I wish we would deport some of these otters. I don't know where they're coming from, but a river otter, and now you don't know if these are rabid, attacked a woman in Florida, in Welvica Island, okay, which is, we all know outside of Orlando. We all know Florida geography by now. Florida's got everything, though. If you go in the water in Florida, expect to be bitten. Alligators, sharks, crazy Floridians, they'll bite you in the water, too. Not safe in the water in Florida. That's my philosophy. Okay? I wanted to talk on the last episode. I had a great conversation with Tom Arnold. I want to thank Tom Arnold for coming on, for being completely honest. I mean, the guy tells stories that, makes himself look bad. It's this whole story about stealing from Madonna, which in real time, I'm sitting there going, this is unbelievable. Unbelievable. And he and Hugh Grant talking about going up to the suite, and Hugh thinks he's going to sleep with Madonna, and then what he says afterwards when he doesn't sleep with Madonna. I'd love to hear Hugh's version and Madonna's version. I'd like this all to be confirmed. But Tom is a perfect guest, entertaining, and just open, says everything. The guy, he doesn't hold back at all. You'd think he'd be sick of talking about his ex-wife, Roseanne, but he's not. I could talk to Tom forever. And I'm sure he's got more stories. I'd like a story. Tom, if you come back on, I'd like a story from you that you haven't told. I don't know if you told that Madonna story before, but I want fresh. I'm going to ask people to come on and tell stories they've never told before, because there's nothing worse than like someone go, he's told these stories before. I wanted to talk to Tom about the Paul Reubens documentary. That guy, Paul Reubens, who played what was that? Bum ba 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 bum 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 ba bum ba 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 bum bum. I did that dance on stage the other night, but no one knew what I was doing. Ba 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 ba. Pee Wee Herman. What a complicated dude that was. But boy, I didn't realize the guy was so ruthless in business. I think him and Hartman. The guy got shot by his wife. That's a cautionary tale too for anybody thinking about getting married. Phil Hartman helped develop Pee Wee's Playhouse I think they were doing it for Second City. And then he sort of got left out when the show went big. I guess you have to be ruthless in this business. I guess I'm not ruthless enough. I guess I care about other people and being fair. What an idiot. So stupid. What is wrong with me? Why do I care about other people? Why not just step all over people? But Paul Reubens is one of those guys that you can just sit there watching for hours, just speak. Whatever he talks about is so interesting. And I guess the big revelation was that he was gay. I never even thought about his sexuality. I actually thought he was just a guy who probably was asexual. Wasn't having sex. I mean, he was so skinny. He had no energy to have sex, I would assume. Gotta eat. You gotta look like me to have good sex. Oh, and we're gonna get into this documentary about the orgasm meditation. There was a documentary, but now the founders are going to the slammer. So we're going to talk about that. Also, I'm going to talk on this episode. This is episode 153, What's Wrong with Orny Adams, WWWOA. I will be discussing why the decoupling of the world. People are choosing to be single, not be in relationships, not have kids, and why this is a bad sign. Not to me. I think it's a great sign people aren't having kids. Leaders of the orgasmic meditation company One Taste convicted in forced labor trial. Oh, here are my notes from, I didn't even clean up from the last podcast. These are the Tom Arnold notes. What did I not discuss with him? Oh, yeah, dating app. Here's a public advisory on the What's Wrong with Orny Adams podcast. If you're on a dating app in another country, be very careful, because what's happening is they're using women to trick men into meeting up, or maybe even women to meet up with men, and then they're kidnapping these people and holding them for ransom. I've told everybody, if you kidnap me, nobody's paying any ransom. Nobody even cares. Then it says, let's see, umbrella policy. This is a longer discussion for another podcast I will do. A Pee Wee documentary I just did. New Mexico, I can discuss that. I don't know why I wrote safety. Oh, I was asking Tom if he feared for his safety. And here's a blank card. This is a future thought right there. I still have COVID tongue. When did I get back from Vegas? Because that's right when I cleared myself. I now cleared myself to be safe to go out. I had COVID. My left arm is still like tingly. Like it feels almost like I pulled the whole muscle in the arm. Thought maybe I was having a heart attack. I thought, should I go to the hospital? And I thought, nah, I don't think it's that bad. And I've got a decomposition detector in my house, so if I'm rotting, that will go off and alert the authorities. And my tongue has now, it seems to be getting better and better. I started swishing with peroxide, whatever that stuff is, because I thought maybe it was like an infection that needed to get away. I got a tongue scrape. I've tried everything, but I have COVID tongue. I can taste, but it feels like, you know, when you have a hot beverage like a coffee and it scalds your tongue. My tongue feels like it's scalded. Is it scalded? Yeah, I mean, isn't that what you do to a kid when he's bad? It feels burnt. And I'm walking around all day with this, and I think it's getting better, but maybe I'm just getting used to it. Maybe this is something I'm going to have to live with for forever. Maybe your favorite comedian, Orny Adams, is going to have to live with a numb tongue because I got COVID. And I was vaccinated. I was vaccinated in November, early November, and I still got COVID. And it still sucks, and I can still feel it. I do not feel 100%. I have long COVID. Long COVID. I just want to be back in Costa Rica with this. I love that this annoys somebody. Somebody wrote in they were actually annoyed that I play the most beautiful whistle ever, the hummingbird whistle from Tamarindo Beach in Costa Rica. How could this upset somebody? But it does, because people are so easily upset. Played Chicago, played the Den Theater. Thank you to those people. Thank you to everybody who showed up. But it was an amazing show. Lots of Lithuanians there. I'm starting to draw a big Lith crowd thanks to my video where I mistakenly thought Lithuanians were known for their lithium batteries. They're now coming out. They're great. They drink a lot. These are my people. My great-grandparents were from Lithuania. So I had a great show there, Chicago. Went to the Art Institute, one of my favorite museums because there's natural light. And I kept trying to find a Liechtenstein that I saw the last time I was there. I never found it. I never found the Liechtenstein, but I walked around several times in that museum. I guess that's one of the things I love. Sometimes I'm on the road and I can't believe, like this happened in New Mexico several times. I kept thinking two things. First of all, I'm the hottest person in this state. I'm gorgeous. I'm like a rock star there. I see the way people look at me like I'm some sort of soap star. People are like, who's the guy from General Hospital? So I often think on the road, I can't believe I get paid to go to these places and do shows, and I can go to the Art Institute, or I can explore and see Albuquerque and Santa Fe and Reduso. Boy, is that community upset. Is there anything better than making a video and just having fun? I mispronounced the name of the town. I think it's Reduso or something. I'm calling it Reduso. I don't know what I called it. I was actually more concerned that there was a pack of wild horses on the side of the road and one was coming at me than how to pronounce the name of the city properly. These people are up in arms, furious. Over 500,000 people have viewed this video critically and upset about the way I pronounced it, rather than thanking me for bringing awareness to this small ski community in southern New Mexico, which is very close to the Texan border. Nobody's thanked me for that. And then I made a follow-up video where I really put a lot of time, production, and writing into it, and it inflamed emotions even more. Well, I have this to say to those people in Reduso: get a life. Bigger things to worry about. We got otters. Oh, once you have otters running around, packs of wild otters in the streets instead of horses, I think you'll be a fan of this podcast because I'm the one who's creating otter awareness. And you guys are out of your mind getting upset about the way I pronounce Reduso. I stayed in bed and breakfast, the original Airbnbs when I was in New Mexico, and they would serve like a gourmet breakfast every day. I'm in Santa Fe, and they have like 6 items. Took a picture. You could get eggs and potato. You could get oatmeal. They had peanut butter and jelly like bagels. They had like all sorts of fun stuff. Interesting. Some heavy carbs, some eggy. And I saw this couple. Took a picture of them, snuck a picture. They were older than me, in their 60s. Both on a device. She was on a computer. He was on a phone. They weren't talking at all. I'm sitting there, why is this couple even together? I think it's so sad when I see, I sit alone. I'm talking more to myself than these people are talking to each other. I'm having more conversation than they're having conversation, and they're with somebody else. I sit there, just talk. I go, I don't know what I want to do today. Oh my God, see that article? That's in my head. These people just sitting there on their devices. So it's now affecting old people. And I'm going to talk about this at the end of the show because attached to the orgasm cult, which there was just a trial about, I listened to a really interesting podcast, and their thesis was that the iPhone drove men and women apart. And I believe that too. So he was on an iPhone. She was on the computer. I am just staring at them, fascinated that this couple is not, hey, what time do you want to leave? Hey, because they're on vacation in Santa Fe. Are we going to, where are we going? We going to Taos today? Should we go to the art exhibit? What are you thinking? What are you going to wear? Don't forget the sunscreen. Oh, and then, don't forget to call your brother. It's his birthday. Like nothing. It's your brother's birthday today. Nothing. No conversation. Everything they needed to discuss for that day had already been discussed, or they just know, or they got some sort of mental telepathy. But this couple, I'm sitting there going, they shouldn't be together. These people should be alone, like me. I should be with somebody. I'd have something to talk about. I'd talk that person's ear off. Put the phone down. Daddy's got something to say. Then it comes time to order. Now I'm fascinated. What is everybody getting? Because the first day, listen to this shit. First day I'm at the bed and breakfast. I sit at this. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tables where 2 people could sit at, or 4 people, but it was mostly 2s. And then one big long table that had 8 people. And I sat at the 8 table because there was no 2 tables left. No 2 tops for me to sit alone and watch everybody. I'm going to get back to the couple in a second. That's boring. This is what I always do. I always start something, then my head takes me somewhere else. That's what's wrong with Orny Adams. So, the couple. So I sit at this table for like 8 people. This is why I'm getting into why I like watching what people order at this place. Then, miraculously, 7 of the seats filled in. So now there's 8 people here. The waiter, who recognized me from Teen Wolf, big deal when I travel. Big deal. I was at the end. He took everybody's order. What do you want? I'm going to get the pancakes. I'm going to get the I'm going to get the bagel. I'm going to get a lot of people noticed they were getting what I wanted, which was the eggs and potato. He comes to me, he goes, what do you want? I go, I like the eggs and potato. Then he goes in the kitchen. We all sort of start talking. The guy across from me, this is why there was 7. It was he and his wife and his daughter, and we talked a lot. I was wearing a Bob Dylan shirt, and we were discussing that. This is a Bob Dylan shirt that I got way before this movie came out. Okay, I've been a fan for a while, but I'm going to stop wearing it because now everybody's on this Dylan kick. So we were talking Dylan, deep Dylan. Each of us trying to prove that we knew Dylan. We were down with the facts. We knew the lyrics to songs. We knew concerts. We knew when he toured with the Dead. His wife was just watching the whole conversation. Go, this is great. Now I don't have to talk to him. Anyway, the waiter comes back, says to me, hey, would you like something else? We're out of egg and potato. They got the last ones. I go, well, hold on a second. I was here. I sat here first. I didn't say this, but these 7 people came later. I should have priority. This is like when you're in first class and they run out of the meal you want, and you're like, hold on a second, I paid. I'm a paid full class seat, first class seat. I'm not I got bumped up. This isn't, I use miles. This isn't, I paid $2,000 for the seat. I want my meal, the meal I wanted. Now, those are the people, that person that just, got bumped up in the gate, he can pick something else. So I ended up getting something else because they were out of egg and potato. So now, every day when I watch people take orders, I didn't give them my order yet. I'm watching the couple. I wanted egg and potato. This is the second day. And I'm thinking, I hope the couple doesn't order because he was taking their order first. I hope they don't get egg and potato because then there'll be no more egg and potato. So now I have another thing to worry about. I can't just enjoy my bed and breakfast experience. They might run out of egg and potato. This couple, no conversation. No, hey, what are you getting? Hey, should I get this and try this? And we'll split. Hey, I'm interested in this. Like, maybe we can share these 2. I was shocked. This is nothing like when I'm with somebody. Then they both ordered the pancakes. I was like, you got to be kidding me. There's no way they're each going to finish a huge plate of 3 pancakes. Me, I would eat like a quarter. They could have gotten pancakes and oatmeal or pancakes and the egg dish. They both got the pancake. Here's the most remarkable part. They both finished it. They both finished their plate dry. I give up. I give up on observing people. So I was in New Mexico, Albuquerque. I ran into Tom Papa. That was bizarre in Santa Fe. He was playing some theater. I was in Santa Fe just like trying to escape the world. I was like not even like in business mode. And I felt like I got caught. I felt like I was in the witness protection program and Tom Papa found me. Tom was like, Orny. I'm like, no. Orny, it's Tom Papa. What, who? I don't know what you're talking about. Orny, what are you doing in New Mexico? I'm just hanging out. Wait, Tom's like, you're not doing work? You can't. Comics aren't allowed to go somewhere and not work. It was shocking. But it was good to see Tom and his opener, Kira. And somehow we both ended up in this restaurant, this like old diner type place on that square. And it was fun to see Tom. I didn't tell him about my COVID tongue. I should have. I don't like New Mexico because of the altitude. You're at 7,500 feet at sometimes, 5,000 in Albuquerque I could handle. That's just below Denver, which is 5,200, which is a mile. It's a mile high. I don't like the altitude. I didn't like how much sunscreen I put on my face because you're so close to the sun. You're at 7,500 feet. The sun is 11,000 feet. A lot of people don't know that. So you're actually, let me do the math, 3,500 feet away from the sun. So you got to glove this stuff on. I don't know why the fan shut off. Another thing that's broken. So I drove from Santa Fe to this. I thought I was going to Alto, New Mexico. Oh, they're upset I call it Alto. It's Alto. So I'm getting that wrong too. All of New Mexico loves to correct you. I went to Madrid, this old mining town in between Albuquerque and Santa Fe, and people are like, no, it's Madrid. Gotta say the D twice. Madrid. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I'm from out of town and I can't say Redusso. I can't say Madrid. I can't make the D on both sides. I say it like Madrid, like Spain, like the original. Sorry, I say Alto and not Alto, or whatever it is. Stupid New Mexicans correcting me the whole trip. It fires me up. So I drove 200 miles. Nobody tells you, including GPS, all this technology, that you're going to be on a road for 100-something miles with no gas station, no exits, no nothing. Just cattle on either side. No homes. It got scary because I was 40 miles in and it said I had like 60 miles left. And I'm like, I haven't seen anything for 40 miles, not even a person. I have no cell service. Like, no way AAA's coming out here. They're not going to drive this far to get me gas. They might airdrop gas. I started to think, what am I going to have to do to get gas? And then I thought, do I just turn around and drive 40 miles back to where there was a gas station and fill up? And I'm in a rental car, so who knows how accurate that little thing is that says 60 miles left. And it was a hybrid. So it would go, oh, now you have 62 miles. Oh, now you have 54. Now you have 58. Now you have 48. It's like the Simply Safe orange juice. It just kept changing. I had fun there in Redusso. I saw donkeys, which later I was told were elks. I saw wild horses. I made a video of the wild horses. You're not allowed to interact with the wild horses. You could be arrested. So I was in my hotel room thinking, oh my God, they're going to knock at any moment now and arrest me. And then I was attacked by some swallows in the hotel room. Yeah, they were just, you got to see the video. I posted it online. They were living on the balcony and they would like swoop in at the window and come out. It was like a Hitchcock film. It was bizarre. I wrote this in my notes. At times driving through New Mexico into the Redusso area, it felt like I was in North Carolina. It felt like I was in North Carolina mountains. Then it felt like I was in Big Bear for moments. And then it felt like Arizona. And sometimes it felt like New Mexico. Let's see. What I like positives about New Mexico, I had a $6 breakfast burrito. For $6 and then coffee, I got out of there for 9 something. So I gave the waitress a 20 and I said, just give me 5 back. She comes back, she gives me 15. I said, I think you got this wrong. I said, no, you take the 15, I'll take the 5. She goes, no, it's right. I said, no, trust me. I saved that woman from having her drawers short. And then cut to a week later, I'm here in Los Angeles. Nobody knows how to handle cash anymore. That's what I'm talking about. I like to pay in cash sometimes. Nobody does. First of all, they're like, we don't even know if we accept cash anymore. Oh, we don't have any change. So we'll round it up or down to the nearest dollar. I'm like, what? It's crazy. And then they don't know how to do the math. So I was in Trader Joe's. I got $15.75 worth of stuff. I only had, now the fan just came on for a second. And now it's on. That thing's possessed. You're possessed. Now I have a new to-do. Buy a new fan. $15.75. I only had 20s. You know, when I go out to do shows, I don't want like my whole wallet. So I just take my license, a credit card, and I took 5 20s. And I'm like, oh, I got a couple of ones. I'm going to take some ones because I'm going to Trader Joe's. So I said, here's 21. I said it. I'm an East Coaster. I lived in New York for years. You go to a bodega, you say, here's a 20. So they don't give you change for 5. So I said, here's 21. The guy gives me a quarter back. I said, I think you owe me 25. I gave you 21. He goes, no, you didn't. You gave me 16. Impossible, because I didn't have a 5. So then he calls. I said, he's sitting there like, I should just accept the 25 and leave. I said, is there a manager? I said. He didn't think to get the manager. So he goes over to this guy, starts talking to him. Now the fan's on high. That thing is possessed. Starts talking to the manager. Manager starts walking around the aisles. I assume he's looking for something. I didn't know what he was doing. Then he goes into the back. I said, oh, good. He's looking at the camera. Comes back. And he goes, doesn't say anything. Just goes into the drawer to give me I said, what are you doing? He goes, I'm going to give you 5 back. I said, yeah, did you, why don't you count the drawer? Just to make sure. Or said, did you look at the security camera? No. He goes, it's just easier if I give you 5. No, I trust you. It's just easier. I said, hold on a second. I know for a fact I gave this kid 21. I said, please look at the camera or count the drawer. I said, let me leave my name. I'm the guy who was in Reubens at the Alto Cafe and corrected the woman that gave me the wrong change in her favor. I'm not here to swindle over $5, you motherfucker. I'm going to be on stage in 10 minutes at the Laugh Factory. That's the other thing. Laugh Factory's texting me, where are you? And I can't go, I'm sitting there handling a dispute over $5 at Trader Joe's. So the guy gave me the money. I said, could you please take my name? Please take my name. He goes, no, it's okay. So they think, now what's to stop that cashier from taking 5 out of the drawer when nobody's looking to make it look like I'm guilty? Yeah, maybe I'm paranoid. I don't know. Good news for the people following. And by the way, in Reubens, they have real cowboy hats, not like Nashville with all the women with cowboy hats for bachelorette parties. One Taste is an orgasmic meditation cult. I call it a cult. I'm watching this thing, and I'm thinking, let me just get to these 2 notes below this, because otherwise I'll lose my mind. I'll forget. But, I posted a clip of Tom Arnold and I in that Hugh Grant story, and the internet is abuzz with my Hugh Grant impersonation. And that was the first time I had done it publicly or had done it in probably 20 years. The other thing is there's not really a recession. There was a lot of concern about the economy. People are scared. You go to buy your orange juice and it's, half the size it used to be. You get scared and it's the same price. But that's the other thing. It always stays at $4.99. This orange juice is shrinking and still $4.99. Doesn't matter how many ounces. But attendance to comedy shows is down. Clubs, I'm not going to name the clubs here in Los Angeles, are canceling shows, major clubs. Comics are talking about ticket sales being down. Apparently, when people are worried about money, they don't need to laugh anymore. They don't need comedy. We're just disposable. We are just disposable. I don't know if I should talk about, I'm going to talk about that. I have 2 stories left. I wanted this podcast to be under 30 minutes. I'm keeping it under 40. I'm sorry. I don't think anybody has the time. Does anybody even have an hour for Orny Adams? I don't think so. And I'm sick of editing it. Sick of doing everything. Leaders of the orgasmic meditation company, I call it cult, One Taste, convicted in forced labor trial. A Brooklyn jury on Monday found Nicole Dadone, founder of One Taste Inc., and Rachel Cherwitz, the California-based company's former sales director, guilty after deliberating for less than 2 days following a 5-week trial. The 2 face up to 20 years in prison, with sentencing due later. That means we get a follow-up story. Prosecutors argued the 2 women ran a years-long scheme that groomed adherents, many of them victims of sexual trauma, to do their bidding. They use economic, sexual, psychological abuse, intimidation, indoctrination to force one-taste members into sexual acts they found uncomfortable or repulsive. Got to watch the video. Watch the documentary on Netflix, Orgasm Inc., such as they force people to have sex with prospective investors or clients. The two told followers the questionable acts were necessary in order to obtain freedom and enlightenment. This is a cult. And to demonstrate their commitment to the organization's principle. That's a cult. We got a cult. You got to see this documentary. These people the people that buy into this shit are so lost. So they had, I guess the philosophy is that women need to have more orgasms, that's great. All for it. And so they would teach women how to have the ultimate orgasm. Well, if you pay $18,000 for the week-long course, you can have great orgasms. And then they had men administering. They were their research partners, the orgasm, using their hands. And God knows what else. Company's called One Taste. I'm not comfortable with that. I don't like the name One Taste. And Gwyneth Paltrow backed these people. Gwyneth, come on, Gwynny. Anything that has to do with the vagina, she's in. She's like, oh, yeah, I'll make a candle out of one. And she backed, I like her statement, because they've now been convicted, Paltrow. What do you have to say that you put these people on your podcast and endorse them without doing the full research? You endorsed a cult. You have menstrual blood on your hands. You're welcome to come on my podcast anytime, Miss Gwyneth Paltrow, and tell me your side. I'd like to have you, Gwyneth Paltrow, Hugh Grant, and Madonna. 3 very good-looking people. Prosecutor said One Taste. God, the name makes me want to cringe. Leaders also didn't pay promised earnings to members turned workers. And even forced some of them to take out new credit cards to continue taking the company's courses. Yet anytime somebody wants your credit card, I tell my parents, they go, is this real? Is this fake? It's a scam. Everything's a scam. Assume everything is a scam. Assume this podcast is a scam until proven otherwise. You should question everything I say except for Redusso. I'm saying that correctly. Daydon co-founded One Taste in San Francisco in 2004, sort of a self-help commune that viewed female orgasms as key to sexual and psychological wellness and interpersonal connection. The centerpiece was orgasmic meditation, or OM, which she carried out by men manually stimulating women in group setting. They got these losers. You got to see this documentary. They got all these tech dudes that had nothing going on. And they're like, oh, you mean I can just come up to this cult and finger women? I don't mean to be crass, because I know my parents listen, but that's what was going on. How else am I supposed to describe this, Mom and Dad? I'm a journalist. Do you see the stories I pulled out of Tom Arnold? I'm a journalist. I'm not to judge, I'm to report. So these guys, I'm not kidding. You gotta watch the documentary. They sit there in a, like a conference room, much like I would get paid a lot of money to perform in for a corporate event. And they watch as one guy gets a woman off. It's pornography. It's cult. It's like, dude. And then they go in the documentary, like these people, like they're just not even ashamed that they fell for this shit. Like people are falling for so much shit. Look at the world today. It's crazy. The world's gone so nuts. Everybody is so lost. Like this whole health and wellness space. Like all of a sudden everyone's like, gotta have bone broth. I'll start hearing people say, you should have bone broth. You should have cordy mushrooms, cordy stem mushrooms. Gotta have bone broth. And then all of a sudden you see bone broth everywhere. Every store has bone broth on the end caps, which are the most expensive, most exposed parts of the store. Like, where does this come from? Why is everybody is so lost? Everyone's been looking for the fountain of Ruth. I've been looking for Ruth. Fountain of youth for so long that It's been going on forever. Ever since narcissists looked into the water and said, is this the fountain of youth? And then fell in love with his reflection. I looked into a pond once, and all I saw was Narcissus's reflection. Ah! So many people just lost. They're just lost. And so what does this lead to? People are so down on this world, and I don't blame them. I can't watch the news anymore. I've been watching this last week because we've got these riots going on. You know, it's scary. And I'm watching just to see, because I wasn't watching the news. My parents are calling going, are you okay with the riots? I'm like, riots? What are you talking about? I don't even watch the news. I'm in the Orny bubble, which I invite you to be in the Orny Adams bubble. What's wrong with Orny Adams bubble? I'm staying away from everything. And then I'm listening to this podcast, and I realize I'm not alone. The world is nuts. And a lot of people, I didn't consciously make this decision, are deciding not to have kids for several reasons. One, it's expensive. Two, they see their friends on social media having a lot more fun without their without having kids. And they're down on the world. And I listened to this podcast called Interesting Times with Ross Douthat. And the title of it was, I saw this in the New York Times. I saw the article and I said, oh, it's a podcast. I can listen. That's great. So I'll listen when I'm in Santa Fe at 7,500 feet, suffering, chugging coconut water so I don't dehydrate, taking cordyceps mushrooms because it's supposed to help with the breathing. I don't know what it did. I hope it did. Taking B12, B2, I got a whole vitamin. All of a sudden, I'm like the health food aisle in Whole Foods, ingesting it. And the name of the article was iPhone Drove Men and Women Apart. I go, well, I believe that. Somebody explained to me why I ended up where I ended up. And this article did it. 18 to 34-year-olds. Ready for this? This is worldwide phenomenon. 50% of people 18 to 34. Now, I'm a little bit older than that, but I think young. 50% are choosing to stay single. This is happening in Latin America. This is happening in East Asia. This is happening in America. This is happening in the Scandinavian countries where some of them are actually saying if you have 2 kids, you don't have to pay taxes for the rest of your life. People aren't having kids. There has been a population collapse. When I was in high school and I took debate, we debated population growth. And this has changed in my lifetime. The fear was then that there's overpopulation. And we studied this guy, Malthus. I remember Malthus. I said, what is that Malthus theory? Was that like population would go like this, but food would stay like this, meaning like food supply was on a steady line and population kept going up. And he had a really interesting theory. So let me just, because I thought Malthus was closer to my times. Screw this 30-minute podcast. We're at 38 already. Robert Malthus, 1834 is when he died. From 1766 to 1834, was an English economist and scholar, influential in the fields of political economy. In his 1798 book, which I guess I studied in high school, was my bowling alone, an essay on principle of population, Malthus observed that an increase in nation's food production improved the well-being of population. But the improvement was temporary because it led to, what did it lead to, Malthus? 48-ounce orange juice containers instead of 64 in a decade's time? But the improvement was temporary because it led to population growth, which in turn restored the original per capita production level. In other words, this, because we're all confused. Humans had a propensity to use abundance for population growth rather than for maintaining a high standard of living. So what happens is, where is this line about Okay, populations had a tendency to grow until the lower class suffered hardship. This is called the Malthusian trap. Because we used to say, like, oh, it's a Malthusian catastrophe. Like we knew what we were talking about in high school. We sounded all smart. Well, according to Malthus, population's going to go way up. We're not going to have the food. I was told my whole life that we're not going to have enough food. Listen to this. Does this sound like today? Malthus criticized the poor laws for leading to inflation rather than improving the well-being of the poor. He supported taxes on grain imports, the corn laws. This is in 1798. It's like, it's exactly what's going on. I mean, he might as well cite that Heinz ketchup is now $7.99 a bottle. So, according to Malthus, I was raised on the Malthusian theory. So I'm a Malthusian. Okay, that's why I like to tell people I'm a Malthusian. That we were going to have overpopulation. And I still believed in this. When I was a kid, I believed the Chinese told people they could only have one kid. And it better be a son. Isn't that what it was? So I'm listening to this podcast with these two. What is her name? She is so smart. With Dr. Alice Evans, who's a social scientist, okay? She wanted to study why is there a rapid decline? Why are people not having kids? Why has there been a collapse, like a major collapse? And what does this mean? Because to me, less people on the planet sounds ideal. Feels like more food, more oxygen, less people on the highway. You know, we now have traffic at 2:30 p.m. here in Los Angeles. When you go to a place in New Mexico and you drive for 200 miles and you don't see a single person, and then you come back here and at 2:30, you're on dead stop traffic on the 101 trying to get downtown or trying to get to the flower shop to buy more flowers for your property. The only thing that gives me any sort of satisfaction now is buying and planting and sticking my hands. I don't even use shovels. I use my hands. I dig holes and I put fertilizer and I put the plants and I pat it down and I add more and I water and I love it. I had fresh basil in my omelet this morning that I made. So, what's going on? What is going on with this collapse? She claims, let's keep it right here, Dr. Evans, I should say. I'd love to have her in the podcast. This woman, these two, Dr. Evans and Ross Doodhot, listen to them speak. They're so smart. Like, I wish I could talk like, I'm just a bumbling idiot over here with a fan that doesn't work half the time. So you need... okay, I thought it's good that we don't have as much population. Apparently, I'm in trouble because the younger people aren't having kids. So there isn't going to be resources for elderly health care, Social Security. You know, the aging population doesn't work. You notice these old people, they retire and go to Florida and get attacked by otters. You notice that these old people, they're not pulling their weight anymore. My parents are in their 80s and they're not working. They should be working. They should be contributing to society, not taking away. So we need young people to put money into the system to take care of the old people. Well, young people are also saving more. They're not spending. They've decided to save and not spend. That leads to a crisis too. There's a fiscal squeeze going on here. So the doctor says, young people fear the future. Part of this is female choices. Women are now educated. They can support themselves. They don't need a man anymore. And they've chosen not to have kids. And there's just a rise in singlehood and a decoupling. And part of it is technology, the iPhone, and the personal online entertainment is more exciting than dating. Let me say that again. The problem is technology and personal online entertainment is eclipsing dating. People would rather be on their phones like that couple in Santa Fe. She was on her computer. He was on his phone. They were both getting dopamine hits that was greater than talking to each other. What they were finding online gave them more satisfaction. So people are choosing to be alone, which isn't healthy. I mean, it's okay not to have kids. It's okay not to get married. But, next thing you know, we got orgasm cults going on because nobody's having orgasms. Because of this, because of your phone. The phone is designed to be more exciting than your real life. It's designed for you to see people living a life that you want to live, feeling bad about yourself. It's designed to give you dopamine hits, whether it's gambling. They talked about, you used to have to go to the track to gamble. Now you just gamble online. And, I think about it all the time. Like all the things that I have delivered to my house, I used to go to the store to get, and there was a possibility of meeting people, interacting with people. Now you don't have a chance of meeting. This 30-minute podcast is now 45 minutes. Globally, fertility rates are declining, meaning women are having fewer children than in the past. This trend is particularly pronounced in developed countries where fertility rates are often below the replacement level of 2.1 births per woman. Well, who's having a 0.1 baby? Where's that documentary? 2.1 births per woman is needed to sustain a stable population while global fertility rates are falling. Population growth continues due to increasing life expectancy and migration. Oh, that's a problem. That's a problem. Is there more to this story? Where's page 5? So we're also living longer. It's a mess. Everything that I've seen change in my lifetime. We went from overpopulation concerns to now there is a dearth. There is we are having a dry spell of people having kids because people want to be alone. And I see it. I went out for breakfast yesterday. Oh boy, long gone are the $6 burritos. $30 for an omelet and a coffee. And I ordered at the counter, sat down with a little number, and somebody brought it to me. $30. $7.99 for Heinz ketchup and $4.99 for 48 ounces of orange juice, which used to be $2.99 for 64 ounces in 2010. I'm getting old. Get off my lawn. That's where I'm at. Dating has gotten so bad. I'm trying to explain this to my parents because you'll meet somebody and then that person sees one thing wrong with you. They're like, oh, no, I met a guy, a comedian. No, he does well, but he doesn't eat fish. And I like to have sushi. So if he doesn't have fish, I'd rather stay home alone and watch documentaries. That's where we're at. What did I hit here? I hit the wrong button. All fired up. I wanted to play the Mark Man theme, and that meant that the soundboard was on the wrong page. And there you have it. That's what's wrong with Orny Adams. But everybody would rather be alone than with anything that is not perfect. Just another rainy day in Florida. How many meals could I eat alone in New Mexico? It was nice to come back here. I had dinner with Mark Mann. I had dinner with Jim Clemente. I can go to the gym and be social. But it's not my fault. It's not my fault. There's a decoupling. Orny is his name. Orny Adams. There's nothing wrong with Orny Adams. It's what's wrong with the world. There's a fertility crisis. Nobody wants to have kids. Not only that, they're not even trying to, they're not even practicing, they're not even having sex. Nobody's doing anything anymore. Because the world's gone sick and insane. Because we spend all our energy trying to figure out what the is going on. They're fired up. How do you think I feel? How do you think I feel that most women I meet get more enjoyment out of their cell phones, their smartphones, than from me? I can't compete with a smartphone. They should stay single rather than be with me. That's what's wrong with the world. Thank you, Eric Stoltz, for mastering the audio. And we'll see you again for episode 154, What's Wrong with Orny Adams. I hope you've enjoyed this shortened 30-minute podcast. I'm going to go back and finish the last few ounces of that orange juice. Shame on you, simply shrinking, simply orange. Now get out of your phones and go plant some stuff in the yard. I'm getting old.